Hi, I'm Dr. Will at Novi Chiropractic. And before I show you your x-rays and what's going on with your problems, I want to share with you my story with chiropractic. I had horrible sinus and allergy problems to the point where I tried the medical system. I got the shots in my arms. I took the antibiotics because I had strep throat 2 or 3 times a year every year. I was sleeping about 10 hours a day and I was miserable. I thought that's how I'd have to live the rest of my life. And that's where my story begins. I went to this chiropractor. They showed me, they took a picture of my neck. It's supposed to be a C-shaped curve like this. Mine was like this. It was putting pressure on my brainstem. It was putting pressure on all the nerves in my neck. It going to every single muscle, cell, tissue, organ in my body, and especially my ear, nose, and throat. If I were to take a poll and ask anybody, what's your greatest asset? I hope that you would say your health. Because if you had $1 billion in the bank, it wouldn't matter if you didn't have your health. Sadly, most people are going to gauge their health on how they look or feel. And really, it's all about how you're functioning instead of how you look or feel. Sadly, if we go on how we look or feel, think about this, is if you had heart disease, what's the first symptom that we see? A heart attack. The World Health Organization states that health is the state of physical, mental, and emotional well-being, not merely the absence of symptoms or disease. So if that's the case, we have to go on how we function. All right, we have to understand how our body works. So right up top here, you have your brain. The only way that your brain can take care of your body or travel to your body is through the brainstem and then go into the spinal cord. And then coming out of the spinal cord is going to be pairs of nerves that are going to every single muscle, cell, tissue, organ in your body. Everything from your big toe to your spleen, to your liver, to your lymph nodes, everything in between. And so if everything is working the way that it's designed to, there's no interference, guess what? Everything works the way it's designed to. You have this innate intelligence inside you that flows through you and is capable of healing everything in your body. But do you see how we get the interference? All right, everybody asked me, how do we get these interference? What's the interference? Well, the best way and the most simplistic way that I can explain it is through a giant safety pin. All right, so I always want you to think of the top of the safety pin as your brain. Always think of the bottom of the safety pin as your body. Now the two have to talk, right? The only way that your brain can send messages to your body is going to be through the nervous system. And then your body has to send messages going back up to your brain saying, how am I doing? The only way that it can do that is through the nervous system too. It can't Facebook it, Snapchat it, Instagram it. It has to use your nervous system in order for it to flow and function the way that it's supposed to. And if everything does that, guess what? Everything physically, chemically, and emotionally works the way that it's designed to. But this is what happens. We get the roadblocks, we get the barriers, we get the interference. The safety pin opens up. The brain is trying to get the message to the body through the nervous system. Then the body is going to try to get the message back up to the brain. The only way it can't get it, it gets the interference, it gets the blockages and the barriers. And it can do it vice versa, either way. What my job is as a chiropractor is to remove the interference, get everything hooked up the way that it's supposed to. So then your brain and your body can work the way that it's designed to, the way that it's supposed to. And that's when we start talking about your innate intelligence. All right, I want you to know about this wonderful innate intelligence that's inside you. It's the power that's actually inside you that's doing all the healing. And I want you to understand some of the properties behind it. So number one, it's there for you so you can survive. You can survive everything that life throws at you, whether it's going to be just horrific things or just minor things. It's there for you to survive. Number two, it's there for you to actually replicate 2.5 million cells a minute. Whether you like it or not, you're going to replicate those cells. Either you're going to do it abnormally or normally. Do you see how when you're clear and connected, when you don't have subluxations, then your body is going to replicate those cells in a normal fashion. Third, your body is there to reproduce, or your innate intelligence is there to reproduce. Four, okay, your body or your innate intelligence is there for you to adapt to your environment. If it's cold outside, you contract and you shiver. When it's hot outside, then you sweat and you perspire. And then five, finally, but certainly not last, is there for you to heal and for you to actually, so your body will do all of the work that it's supposed to do, which is heal, grow, and repair. All right, a lot of people are going to ask me, what causes the subluxations? How do we get those? And the big thing that I'm going to have to tell you, it's going to be stress. Now, let's categorize that. You got the physical stresses of life, you got the chemical ones, and then you have the emotional ones. So I think a lot of people, let's go to the physical part right now, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Do you see how we get the slips, falls, the traumas, the different things like that, the text neck, the sitting, the video games? We get that, but a lot of times we don't get that the first time that you can have that first subluxation physically is actually being born. Okay, you can have a tiny, tiny subluxation in the upper part of your neck, right, being born. And guess what? It's a small little thing, but it's a huge problem in the future. Second is going to be the toxins of life, the chemical stuff, whether it's going to be the medications that people are taking, the stuff that they're spraying on the grass right now, the foods that they're eating, the stuff that they're putting on their skin right now. I get it. It's not, it's not a perfect world, but those chemical stresses are out there. And then third is going to be the emotional stresses of life, whether it's relationships or finances or family or career. Those things knock us down at times. And what we want to do is we want to actually build you up so you can actually handle those things in life. Let's talk about time and repetition. And a lot of people will ask me, Doc, how long is it going to take? How long before my spine is going to be aligned? Well, I have to ask you this. Have you ever had braces? How long did you have braces for? For most people, it's 2 to 3 years. Now, I'm not saying it's taking you 2 to 3 years to get your spine aligned, but it's same concept, same laws of physics that I have to actually work with is we have to use time and repetition. I'm going to adjust you, but guess what? It's going to want to go right back out. And then what I have to do is time and repetition in order for you to get the best quality of life. In review, I want you to understand is what controls all the function in your body. It's going to be your brain and your nervous system. And then what robs you of you not having that 100% function that flows through the way that it's supposed to be is going to be the subluxations, okay? And then who needs to get checked out? Everybody needs to get checked out. Whether you're 2 hours old or you're 100 years old, everybody needs to be checked. And then when should you actually do that? There's no time like the present. I can give you the keys, but you have to start the ignition.